It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
All right, so we got to go ahead and discuss this because I saw the rankings. You know, a lot of the sanctioning bodies have been updating the rankings, so I was going ahead and I was just looking through them, looking at some of the changes. And I got to say, man, there was one thing that really caught my attention, and I got to make light of it here on True School Sports. I gotta speak up. You know, I got to really go ahead and shed some light on this because I think it's wrong in so many ways. So let's talk about it. So for those of you who really follow me, you guys may remember back in December, I went to the WBA convention. I spoke to the WBA rankings committee. I literally interviewed the president of the WBA, Gilberto Mendoza, about, you know, one of the ranked WBA welterweights, Tre'Sean Wiggins, because I felt like he had a low ranking due to the fact that he had one of the regional belts, had defended it often, was one of the most active welterweights in their top 15 rankings, and they had him at 15. They had him down there just making the cut at 15, right? So I went in there and I spoke to him about that, and when the new rankings came out after that, he went from 15 to 12, right? The rankings have updated again, and Tre'Sean Wiggins magically just drops down to number 14, which, again, I think is wrong because Tre'Sean Wiggins, if you just look at what he's done in his career, yeah, he doesn't have a pretty record, but since his last loss in 2020, he's fought, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's fought 5 times since 2020, right? He's been a consistent, active fighter. He had 2 fights in 2023, 2 fights in 2021, you know, so he's... or 2 fights in 2022, I should say. So he's been very active and he's match fit. And a lot of these fights, I mean, since his loss to Alberto Palmetta in 2020 when he got stopped, he's got 3 knockouts in his last 5 fights. He's on a 5-fight win streak. He should not be no damn 15. And now they moved him. They've actually, in the latest rankings, he went from 12 down to 15. So that's already bad enough on its own. And that's wrong because he deserves to be right. I think 12 was fine, or, you know, 11, 10, 12 range. That would have been okay. And then he could fight again and do what he can to go up the rankings. That would have sufficed, right? But apart from that, right, because, you know, he was 15 2 months ago, he was 12 briefly, now he's back to 14. So he's basically just moved up 1 spot in the last month, which is, I think, is ridiculous. But the thing I want to make a note of, and I really want to highlight more than anything, and why this is wrong, and I'll tie this all together towards the end of the video, is Adrien Broner. This guy, I made light of it on some lives and some other videos that Adrien Broner was ranked in the WBC rankings. Well, now he's ranked in the WBA rankings, and we know that, look, he's a Don King fighter. We know even at his old age, even if Don King isn't what he used to be as a promoter, Don King still has that he's tied in with the WBA like this, got that relationship, so he can, you know, do whatever, and his fighters normally tend to get ranked and get title shots. But the thing is, the reason why this is interesting is because Tre'Sean Wiggins is a Don King fighter, so why can't Tre'Sean Wiggins, who's been active and been doing the right things and been having good performances and just got a first-round knockout his last fight against Chris Howard, the guy Broner was supposed to fight, why is he being screwed? Why is this happening? It's not right. Adrien Broner, I love the guy. He's number 8 in the rankings. He's number 8 in the WBA rankings. He's number 12 in the WBC rankings. He's not really a welterweight. He's not really an active fighter. Adrien Broner has only fought twice since the Manny Pacquiao fight in 2019. So we're talking about 2 fights in 5 years. And that's being rewarded over the guy who's been fighting, you know, 2 times a year consistently over the last, you know, 2-3 years and getting good performances and winning. So, you know, I wanted to call this out. You know, Broner, I in looking at the rankings, I felt like the boxing industry and the boxing world is maneuvering Adrien Broner to get one last big fight, which I get. He's a magnetic personality. He knows how to get people talking. So I understand the business aspect of it, right? But truth be told, he doesn't deserve to be in the rankings, let alone be number 8. So, you know, I know Ryan Garcia. I don't know why. I know it's far-fetched, but I could see Ryan Garcia, Adrien Broner happening. I don't know why I feel that way, but it's just a hunch I have. It's just a feeling I got. But even if that doesn't happen, you know, if Terrence Carter vacates the belt, theoretically speaking, with the relationship Don King has with the WBA, I could see Adrien Broner getting a title shot at welterweight. So it's just a crazy time in the division. Why I'm telling you guys, we're going to get some crazy matchups, some really weird matchups as we go through this transitional period. But, yeah, Tre'Sean Wiggins is getting screwed. And my thing is, like, if you guys are supposed to be his promoter, if y'all don't want to promote the guy, then why don't y'all just release him? Just release the guy. I mean, because clearly you don't value what he's been doing. He's been winning. He's on a 5-5 win streak. He's been knocking everybody out that he's been fighting recently, that you guys have been putting in front of him. And you know, all he's doing is getting screwed in the rankings. And so Broner, who's also a Don King fighter, magically appears at 8. But then Wiggins, who's also a Don King fighter, drops down 2 spots after he just moved up 3 spots. So he really only moved up 1 spot. So come on, that's ridiculous. I'll suggest this, and this is the last thing I'll say. I'll suggest this. If they like Adrien Broner so much, why don't they make Adrien Broner versus Tre'Sean Wiggins? I mean, look, Broner was supposed to fight Chris Howard this past December. He didn't fight Chris Howard. He pulled out the fight. So you guys put Tre'Sean Wiggins in with Chris Howard, correct? He fights Chris Howard. He knocks out Chris Howard in 1 round, okay? So he had to clean up Adrien Broner's mess. Why don't you give him the chance to clean up Adrien Broner? And let's see who's who. Let's see who really is the welterweight that Don King Promotions should be, you know, promoting. Because I get it, Broner. I understand Broner going to sell the tickets. But the guy that's been doing the right thing has been Tre'Sean Wiggins. And so my thing is, they're now both ranked in the WBA. He just fought the guy that Broner pulled out to not fight. That's a fight to make next. Adrien Broner versus Tre'Sean Wiggins, you know. Tre'Sean Wiggins versus like a guy like, you know, Boots or them guys that he's been calling out. That's maybe not the most realistic thing in the world. But Tre'Sean Wiggins versus Adrien Broner, that's a Don King versus Don King fighter. They could do it in Miami at the casino where they always have the fights. And they're both ranked in the WBA. And it'd be a good fight stylistically. You know, Broner's got fast hands. He's athletic. You know, who knows? I mean, his reflexes ain't the best. They haven't been the best because he hasn't been living the life of a fighter for quite some years now. But it'd be a good chance for Broner to get a good welterweight on his resume, and Wiggins a chance to fight a big name, right? Even if he's not what he used to be, to fight a big name and maybe get his name out there a bit more, which would in turn, right, benefit Don King Productions. But my thing is, if that's not a fight they're looking to make, or if they're not looking to get Tre'Sean Wiggins a fight with guys in the top 10 of the WBA rankings, or Alberto Palmetta to avenge his loss, who's number 12, then they don't need to keep promoting him. Just release him, don't promote him no more, and let him go his own way, right? Because it's just a sad state of affairs, you know. But nonetheless, that's the news. Adrien Broner gets ranked magically, wasn't ranked in the WBA, magically appears number 8, and Tre'Sean Wiggins gets screwed and shafted and drops magically 2 spots back down to 14. So I hope they make that fight happen, but you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below about all these boxing politics and the bureaucracy of what's going on. Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dang It. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.